Hi everyone, and welcome to our YouTube channel, Mom's the Word. I'm Eva Danielle, and my co-host Gabe is downstairs doing all the really cool things that 2.5-year-olds do. So I just wanted to come to you guys and take the time to kind of have sort of a personal discussion slash vlog on something that I hold near and dear to my heart. And I've been wanting to put this video out for a while, but A, haven't been feeling well, B, just haven't had the time, and C, I think that all things happen when they're supposed to happen. And so what better day and time to put this vlog out or this video out than the final day of 2017. So I feel it's important because a lot of us going into the new year tend to have resolutions to make the coming year better than the year before, or to improve on some things, or to leave some things that weren't very positive in the previous year behind. And so maybe this is one of those videos that will kind of help you if you have the same issues to kind of go into 2018 with a new perspective. And so what I want to talk about today is something that a lot of people really, in my experience, I can't speak for everybody, but a lot of people really try to shy away from, don't really discuss. It's not something that's discussed outright. A lot of times it's discussed very tongue-in-cheek, and in some communities it isn't talked about at all. It's kind of shunned. And so what I wanted to do today is I wanted to have a very frank and honest conversation about mental illness, mental health, postpartum depression, as well as depression, because like I said, I feel that it's something very near and dear to me, and I feel that it's something that has been stigmatized for far too long. And so you have these instances that are coming up more and more of people who have suffered in silence unnecessarily and have not been able to get the help or the treatment that they need, and like I said, they suffer unnecessarily. And so what I envision today in my transparency is maybe to give someone a little hope, to give someone a little courage that if they are experiencing some of these same things, to not be ashamed or afraid to seek help, and to seek the type of help that you need, that will ultimately make you whole. And so I'm sharing this information today, not for attention, not to put my business out in the streets, but like I said, I just want to, kind of do my part to erase the stigma of mental illness, to erase the, taboo feelings associated with discussing mental health, depression, as well as postpartum depression. So again, like I said, this is not to tell my business, but it's to help to break the stigma of mental health issues and mental health or mental illness, not only amongst women, because I can tell you as a woman, we tend to neglect self-care, and we tend to want to make sure that everyone and everybody else around us is okay, and before long we kind of find ourselves in a rut that we're unable to get out of. And then also from an African American standpoint, I want to kind of talk about and share my thoughts and feelings and stories in regards to being an African American woman who is kind of seeing the stigma of mental illness surrounding the African American community, and how that can cause some of us to suffer in silence, to suffer unnecessarily for fear of being shamed by our peers, for fear that we are not strong enough because we are experiencing some of these things, shame, and all of the above. And so I just wanted to take the time out to kind of talk to you guys, to again share my thoughts and my feelings on the subject, and ultimately to impart hope and courage to somebody who may be suffering from the same thing. So whether you're male, female, you've got kids, you don't have kids, straight, bisexual, homosexual, whether you identify as a man, woman, binary, cisgender, it doesn't matter. We're all human, and it kind of affects us the same. And so like I said, I just wanted to kind of shed some light on some of the things that we really try to shy away from and don't talk about because we think it's a problem that other people may have. It looks a certain way, it sounds a certain way, it feels a certain way, when in all reality it could be you, or it could be the person who you think has it all together, and they really don't. So we'll get right into it. So like I said, I just wanted to share my personal experience in regards to, understanding that mental illness or depression or postpartum depression doesn't have a certain look. You don't have to be black, you don't have to be white, you don't have to be a certain sexual orientation. It can affect anyone. And so, speaking solely for myself, a lot of people would never know that on any given day, on a daily basis, this is my prescription regimen that allows me to function as a, I don't want to, for lack of a better term, normal person. However, I take these medications. Now, some would say, you take medication? Yeah, actually I do. And I am no longer ashamed to say it. I am no longer ashamed to admit it, because it has allowed me to take back my mental health. It has allowed me to take better control of my life. It has allowed me to live a more fulfilling life. And so again, I just wanted to share my experience that it's nothing to be ashamed of if you have to take medication. Some of us need it, some of us don't. But in my situation, yes, I did. And so I wanted to, put that out there that, you don't have to look a certain way or be a certain way or be from a certain, demographic or family background in order to suffer from mental illness. But the key thing is that, you recognize the signs and you seek the proper treatment, so that way you can live the best life that you can as well. And so delving into the signs of, we're going to be covering depression as well as postpartum depression today. So first we're going to talk about the signs of depression. And so next we are going to cover the signs of postpartum depression. And so because this channel deals primarily with women, I wanted to cover not only depression for anybody, but for my mamas out there, postpartum depression as well. So here are the signs of postpartum depression.
So here's a short list of some of the symptoms associated with depression as noted by the Anxiety and Depression Association of America. You do have to be medically diagnosed with depression, but if you notice you're having some of these symptoms, it's best to go get checked out.
So now that we've covered the signs of both depression and postpartum depression, you might say, okay, well, I'm feeling some of these things, but it's weird. I go to church every day, I pray every day. So why in the world, should I get help? And here's what I'll say about that. Again, I'm speaking from my personal experience. I'm speaking as
So here are a few symptoms of postpartum depression as noted by the American Pregnancy Association. So please note that upon normal delivery, most women typically have a lot of these symptoms. However, with postpartum depression, they tend to last more than 2 weeks, but you should also see your physician.
I also needed a little bit extra help in order to get to the point to where I was made completely whole. As I said before, a lot of times in certain communities, and I'll speak solely, because I am African American and I can speak from that standpoint of being African American. I know particularly in the African American community, a lot of times people do not seek professional mental help because it is, I guess, thought that you should be able to pray all of those things away. And yes, again, prayer works. I'm not telling you don't pray. I'm not telling you don't seek prayer. However, if after you pray it still hasn't gotten any better, if after you pray you'll feel better for a day or an hour or a few minutes and you still have those sort of harmful thoughts, then perhaps it is time to, in addition to your prayer, to seek professional mental help. So that way, in addition to your prayers, you may be able to receive medical treatment that would allow you to become completely whole. Now, I do believe that God, whether you believe in a Christian God or whatever God you believe in, allows for gifts and talents to be placed in others in order to help ourselves. And so maybe in addition to your prayers, he can lead you or guide you to someone who is able to use their knowledge and expertise to allow you to fully heal and be made whole. So again, in my case, yes, prayer worked. However, these medications in conjunction with my prayer actually helped to get me on the path to completeness and wholeness. And that is not to say that everyone is going to need to be on all sorts of medications and pills and all that kind of stuff, but there are plenty of other mental health services that can be offered, such as talk therapy, DBT therapy, that a professional might be able to help you with. And so the whole point of that is just, you know, there are people out there who are specifically trained in the area of mental health who can help. And so don't feel like, you know, you have to be ashamed that, you know, just simply being strong wasn't going to do it for you, or simply just praying about it wasn't going to do it for you. But sometimes we need a little extra push, and there's nothing wrong with that. And so I just want to impress upon everybody that there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you need to go seek professional help in addition to relying on your faith, it is absolutely okay. Doesn't mean that your faith is diminished. Doesn't mean that you are less faithful or that you don't have enough faith. It sometimes can just mean that you just need a little extra push, and when you combine it, then it's gonna all work out. Why I sought help. Again, I had a loving family. I had support. I had people who were willing to listen. However, they weren't trained in the area of mental health. And so as much as they wanted to help and as much as they tried to help, they simply could not because they weren't equipped. And so I think that in my case, it was absolutely necessary. And I thank God that I had a medical team who recognized the signs of, you know, what I was going through to be a medical crisis. And so they were able to point me and my family members in the right direction, and I was able to get the help that I needed. And so again, there are so many resources out there for people who are suffering from this. But, you know, sometimes we just need someone to kind of point us in the right direction in order to receive those resources or to utilize those resources. And so again, my hope in putting out this vlog or putting out this video is to, I guess, encourage someone who may be going through some of the same things to go and seek professional help if need be. And not only do you seek that professional help, but you don't feel bad about it. And here's why you shouldn't feel bad about it. Simply because mental health is just as important as any other type of health that we subscribe to. And especially coming into this new year, people want to get their, you know, eating back on track, to, you know, regain their physical health. They want to start budgeting in order to improve their financial health. And so, you know, what's wrong with making sure that your mental health is in tip-top shape as well? And a lot of the times we don't think about that until it's too late, until our mental health has declined so much to where now we're in a crisis. And so again, you know, I said in the beginning that I have been thinking about putting this video out for a long time, but like I said, all things happen when they're supposed to happen. And so going into 2018, perhaps this can be the top of your resolution list if you believe in doing resolutions. But one of the top things on your resolutions list is to take control of your mental health. And so, you know, when we start to think of our mental health as not being this thing that we kind of, you know, stick behind, you know, behind all of our clothes in the closets, or we kind of, you know, whisper about it and not really, you know, acknowledge it. But when we start to think about it just the same as our physical health, our financial health, you know, I believe that once we take that in its totality, then it can help us to be the best person that we're going to be overall. And it took me a long time to understand it, but I do understand that a completely healthy you is a better you. So that's not just physically, but that's mentally as well. So if you aren't right here, then ultimately your physical is going to be affected, because you know a lot of the manifestations of physical illnesses in our body start up here as well. And so if we're not taking care of this up here, then it's really hard for us to be healthy overall. So I say all that to say, when you talk about being healthy, don't forget mental health as well. So if anything in this video has prompted you to say, you know what, I had been feeling shame in the past, I know I need help, I just don't know what direction to go in. Now, everybody knows of the song 1-800-273-8255. It's not just a song, it is actually the number to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. So they don't call it a hotline, it's called a lifeline, because you have men and women who have dedicated themselves to being available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to talk to you if you find yourself in a mental or emotional crisis. So once again, that number to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-8255 if you're in the United States. If you're outside of the United States, you can go on the web at www.iasp.info to find out if they do have lifelines that are available in your area. There are other lifelines that are out there as well, but I know the most notable one is the one that I mentioned, which is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. And I do know that they are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to speak to anyone who is experiencing a mental or emotional crisis. Sometimes it's good to talk to family members. Sometimes it's good to talk to your clergy members. Sometimes it's good to seek help from a professional therapist or a psychiatrist if need be. But I just wanted to kind of put out there that there are ways to get help, and you don't have to go at this alone. And so, I'll make sure that I put all of the information that I discussed here in the description box below. If you or anyone else, like I said, are experiencing any of these symptoms, if you feel that, even though all of the symptoms don't apply to you, but you just don't feel like your best, then, again, make sure you reach out to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline and just talk to someone, and they may be able to point you in the right direction in regards to making yourself completely whole. And so, I think that's all I have to say about this subject for now. There's so much more I could touch on, but I just wanted to make sure that I kind of put this out there, not only, in sharing my story, but in helping to possibly encourage someone else who may be experiencing these things and just, needed that extra push to seek the help that you need. And so it is my hope and my prayer as we enter into 2018 that we all take better care of ourselves on a whole. And that's not just exercising to make sure that our abs and our arms are right, but in also doing a thorough checkup on our mental to make sure that we are functioning at our best as well. So I hope that you guys found this vlog to be enlightening, encouraging, to maybe again give someone hope that they can get better and that things can be brighter, that there are people out there that are willing to help. And yeah, so if you guys have any comments, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer each and every one of them. As always, I do thank you guys for liking, subscribing, and telling a friend. And if you feel the need to share this with someone, please do. Please share it. Again, there's no shame in my game. I put this out here knowing that for some, they might go, oh, she's putting herself on Front Street. But the ultimate goal was to encourage someone else who may be going through the same thing to get the help that they need and to not feel shame about it. So that's it for now. I want to wish you guys a very happy new year, a prosperous new year, and we will see you on the next video. Until then, bye-bye.